So I wanted to talk about some of these NIL deals that are going down, even for high school students, right? So NIL is name, image, and likeness. It is the newest iteration of compensation in the NCAA. They've allowed businesses, alumni, things that are in the area, that university, to then pay students for their name, image, and likeness. A couple of things with this is really interesting to me. For all of my, we like the traditional college football model, even if you don't, a lot of people don't even like the playoff, right? That kind of traditionalist. I I I would appeal to you by saying this. The NCAA created not just the problem, but they created the system in which now this has to be a part of it, right? If you never wanted college football, if you always wanted college football to stay this fringe, regional, very tribal, right? You wanted to kind of keep that traditionalism, then pumping millions or billions of dollars into it and making it a household product is probably not the best way to keep it traditional. And then on
Sure.
top of that, you are making exorbitant amounts of money, billions of dollars a year,
It just opens
right?
it up to corruption.
Not only corruption, how long are you going to be able to do that off of the backs of what? What are they? What are they? When we knock it down to brass tacks, save me with the student athlete shit. What are they? Employees. I come here to play football for you. The football program then makes millions of dollars that feeds the universities and all of the other athletic programs. That is the way that the NCAA built it. It is not that way by circumstance. It's the way that they want it. You have the two most popular sports on any campus, basketball and football, paying for all of the rest. Now it's funny, no one has a problem with Nick Saban, a football coach. A football coach. And as great as Nick Saban is, as much as I love football, Nick Saban is making $50 million over the span of this contract that he's under now. Almost 10 million a year. $10 million. That would make him the highest paid faculty member at Alabama, a university. So on one side of it, you have the NCAA arguing that these are students and their education should be held higher, to a higher regard than them making money off their name, image, and likeness. Then on the other end, you're paying the football coach more than any other teacher, professor, anyone else on the entire campus. The man who has the least to do with what happens up here in terms of education gets paid the most. That's hypocrisy. And now what they've done is, now that they've lost in court essentially, and they've been forced into this corner. Now all of a sudden, remember, mind you, this is the same NCAA that ran Jim Trussell out of Columbus because of the tattoo scandal.
Mhm.
Same NCAA that hands out postseason bans on a yearly basis for frivolous things like practice time or
Agents.
agents, lane brain recruiting violations, what have you. Very punitive system that we know it to be. All of a sudden is 100% hands off when it comes to NIL. To the point where we're allowing boosters to offer high school kids millions of dollars to even commit to the school. Not oh hey, he's on campus. We introduced him to alumni. Here are the deals we can offer you. Blah 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 blah. No. Like going to a high school sophomore's house and offering him $8 million to come to Rocky Top. All of a
Yep.
sudden, right? No rules, no regulations. Everybody do what you want to do. The only rules that we have is that the faculty members or the university cannot directly set up the deals for you. You can do them on your own.
Well, I mean, high schoolers were already taking advantage of this. I mean, look at guys like Quinn Ewers, who were basically leaving high school early to take advantage of $1 million contracts through, whoever would endorse them.
Yeah, but now this is I guess is part of the same ilk. I guess,
It's
but at
speeding up the
least with Quentin
process.
Ewers, yeah, at least with Quentin Ewers, he was in his final year of high school ball. Like he might have graduated early. Plenty of teams will graduate early. Plenty of players will take you to early enroll in the winter if you have the grades. If you can graduate high school, I have no problem with that. The problem that I have is that the system, the organization that was punitive enough to suspend players for selling their own memorabilia, stuff that they owned, right, is now so hands off that they are allowing college football programs to offer money to high school students to attend their colleges. That's not what NIL was supposed to be. NIL was supposed to be so that you could not profit solely off of someone's likeness, off of my name, off of my body.
The crazy thing is, it's going to continue to get worse because they've been recruiting some of these kids since seventh grade. I think Arch Manning has been recruited since like seventh grade. So it's going to continue to kind of get a little worse as far as NIL goes.
Recruiting and straight up pay for play is different. And NIL doesn't mean pay for play. It
Sure.
means, hey, everybody at the top, my coaches, my AD, the school president, all of these execs on the committee boards, all the college football playoff committee, right? All of these guys are taking home $1 million salaries. All of them. Multi-million dollar salaries off of our backs. But they tell us that we can't make money because we're only students, we're amateurs. That is where the conflict was. Put a payment system in place to make sure that they are compensated for their name, image, and likeness. The best way to do that was not to say, okay, fuck it, you guys go and do whatever you want. Because you know what they're going to be able to say when something like this goes awry, which it is sure to go awry, and it's not going to take very long. We told you so.
But I
We told
guess,
you they couldn't handle this. They're amateurs. They weren't prepared for this, and we knew it, and that's why we didn't pay them in the first place.
but
We
that,
told you so.
but that's even my point in that I feel like it's just going to naturally get worse in the race to get somebody like Arch Manning as early as they can. They're going to have to start to pony up some money in order to even get in his good graces, I would think.
Maybe not with Arch Manning because obviously he comes from money, but I get your point with some of these other high school quarterbacks because what do you expect a 16-year-old to say to you when you offer him $8 million to come to your school? What do you think he's gonna say?
Back up the Brinks truck.
So I feel like the onus is on the NCAA to correct some of this. Hunter Dickinson brought it up. He actually did I think it was a Sports Illustrated he went on with. He was just talking about NIL, and he brought up schools like Texas A&M and stuff like that, and even schools like Oklahoma where they're basically promising guys living wage salaries to come play football at their schools, and because there is no regulations, because there are no rules in place, it's a free for all. It's a free
Yeah.
for all, and it's to the point where now he's turning the eye to the university like, look, man, whatever moral misgivings you have to this whole deal, if you want to compete, you're going to have to do it. While at very least, while it's available. I guess the kind of caution that comes into that is, do you really want to be the first university who has to be the example? And that's where I think a lot of the northern schools are concerned with. SEC schools, Big 12 schools, they don't give a damn. They don't give a damn. They don't give a damn. They don't give a good goddamn. They don't give a fuck. They didn't give a fuck before. So now you saying, oh, I can literally just offer him the money like in plain sight. Oh, bet. You mean I don't have to buy a truck through my friend and just mysteriously drop it off at his house? I can literally just give it to him through an NIL deal. Bet that's way more legit than what we've been doing.
Yeah.
Way more legit than what we've been doing down here in the Southeastern Conference. Are all these guys paying their taxes? Like, is there any financial stability or any financial education being given to them behind these things? It's just like those are all things that the NCAA, right, the organization that was so concerned for its student athletes when they were trying to make sure that they didn't make money, now all of a sudden doesn't give a damn what they do. They're letting this become the wild wild west so that it crashes and burns. And what I would urge certain universities to start doing themselves to police themselves, at very least the conferences, start putting in some type of guidelines, right? Like at least make the booster clear a background check, right? At least have some sort of apparatus for the NCAA or for the conference that monitors the comings and goings of some of these payments. Because if you think that NIL happened and now all of a sudden Texas A&M recruits better than Alabama, you're high. They just pay better. I mean, you have to. There has to be a limit, right? Because every university is not just going to pay for college football players. It's just not going to happen. But yeah, that's some of my thoughts on the NIL stuff. I feel like the NCAA is trying to set it up to fail, and that's why they've been so hands off with any type of the process or who's allowed to donate, who's not allowed to donate. Is anybody allowed to donate? How much money are you allowed to take? You know, are high school students eligible for this? And is that how we really is that what we wanted to turn into? Like I wanted players to be compensated for the things that they endure, the carnage that they put their body through. Right?
Not
They
as a
don't get
recruiting
health
tool.
insurance. They don't get any type of benefits for the violence that they've undergone. And I'm sorry, but no one can ever convince me that a 4-year degree is comparable to what they are doing for the university and comparable to the effects that that's going to have on them long term physically. Yes, going to the University of Michigan is a stamp that's going to carry you anywhere. It'll get you into any door. It's not worth your mental health. It's not worth CTE or dementia, for which none of these players will have any recourse if their playing career ends at Michigan. That's just the truth. So from that standpoint, and the standpoint that they are literally running some of these universities by playing football, they are keeping the lights on. They should be compensated. That doesn't mean that I think a high school sophomore should be making $8 million to commit to Tennessee. That's ludicrous.
It should be used to obviously allow a player to monetize, maybe take care of their family, things of that nature, where they couldn't before, but now they can. It should not be used as a recruiting tool.
Because here's the thing, I don't think college football coaches should be making $50,000-$60,000 over a 5 to 10 year span either. That's
Millions.
ridiculous. Your football coach shouldn't make more than the fucking university president. If we are sitting here talking about student athlete this, student athlete that, student athlete, education, 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 how do you justify paying the football coach more than anyone else on campus? For the same reason that you need to pay the kids, because he brings in the most money, right? Paying or compensating the kids doesn't mean you have to completely. This is like a parent throwing a tantrum with a kid because the kid is right. You're whooping me for no reason. So now your recourse is just to throw me out the window. Fuck it. Start over. New kid. Throw him out with the bathwater.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. You're just going to take your hands off of it completely and let it crash and burn so that you can find a way to not pay these guys again.
To prove a point, essentially.
That's what it feels like. That's what it feels like. And it puts universities like Michigan that know better, right? A lot of Big Ten schools that know better and can kind of see where things are going. It's kind of putting them in this game of chicken. Are you going to let the Southern teams outpace you doing what they do in NIL? Or are you going to sit back and watch one of them get slaughtered because you know that's what's sure to come? How long do you sit back and wait? It's another thing. So, very interesting concept there with the name, image, likeness. Did you have any other thoughts?
No, man, I think that's it.
Give us your comments in the prompt below. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and tell us what you thought.
And make sure you check out our playlist for college football. College football is actually coming up, so we will be talking about the college season as it does come up. And make sure, like he said, make sure you subscribe because we like to talk about college football topics all the time.